It was a cold, moonless night when Sarah found herself driving down a desolate, winding road in the middle of nowhere. The forest surrounding her car was thick with dark shadows, the trees swaying in the wind like skeletal hands reaching out to grab her. Her headlights flickered once, twice, then steadied, but the unsettling feeling only grew stronger. She had been on this road for what seemed like hours, but there was nothing. No signs of life, no houses, not even the hum of distant traffic. Sarah glanced at her phone. No signal. She cursed under her breath, unsure if she should turn back or keep moving forward. Then, through the trees, she saw a figure. At first, it was just a silhouette, standing perfectly still by the side of the road. It was tall, far too tall, its body thin and unnaturally elongated. Sarah's heart raced, and she instinctively slammed on the brakes, her tires screeching against the gravel. The figure didn't move. Her breath hitched in her throat. What was it? Who was it? She stared for a few moments, her eyes fixed on the shape, but when she blinked, it was gone. She looked in all directions, but the road was empty. The silence around her was deafening. She shook her head and tried to convince herself it was just a trick of the light, a trick her exhausted mind was playing on her. But then her headlights flickered again. This time, when they came back on, the figure was standing at the front of her car. She let out a blood-curdling scream as she slammed the car into reverse. But before she could make a move, a hand, pale and impossibly cold, pressed against the windshield. The fingers stretched long and thin, leaving streaks of frost behind. Sarah's eyes widened in terror as the figure bent down, its face now visible. It had no eyes, just hollow, empty sockets, and a twisted smile that stretched too far across its face. It opened its mouth, but no sound came out. The frost on the windshield began to spread, creeping toward her, and in that moment, Sarah knew she was not alone. With a rush of adrenaline, she threw the car in drive and floored the accelerator, tearing down the road as fast as she could, not daring to look back. But as the forest blurred past her, she could see it, in the rearview mirror, just a fraction of a second behind her, and each time she checked, the figure was closer and closer. The road stretched on, an endless void, with no escape in sight. That night, Sarah was never seen again. They say if you drive the same road late at night, you'll hear the sound of something or someone scratching at your window.